Okay, here I'm going to show you an example of how you can use noise to break up the perfect edge of a roto. The noise is found on the draw menu here because it's an image creation. As described on canvas, the noise function is a procedural equation. It's a mathematical function, an algorithm that is basically a variation of a sine wave, layered versions of a sine wave that create this type of look. And we can control various parameters, the size of this noise. We can move through the noise, which sort of creates like a simulated animation of the noise. This can be keyed, or you can add an expression to that. The octaves means the sort of level of detail. So if you imagine, sort of this relates to like fractal type algorithm. So if you imagine, if you look at like a Mandelbrot type fractal, which is like what you see on those kind of particular cauliflower heads, where you see a particular pattern and then you see the same pattern echoing in smaller and smaller and smaller example. They're different octaves of a fractal noise. If I reduce these octaves, like 2 for example, you'll see that it becomes much simpler and you can start to see the basic purling noise, which is based on a sine wave. That's how you get the gradient type effects. So it comes in at 10 octaves. You can see the layers of detail, the level of detail, the smaller layers of that same kind of noise at a different scale, and we get this more interesting detail of the fall off in between. I think if you take those octaves up a lot higher, computationally you're asking a little bit more. Sometimes you're asking more than what you'd actually see. So I think 10 is probably a good point to take it to. Anyway, I'm not going to mess with the settings too much. I'm just going to leave this here. I just wanted to show like the gain sort of adds up the sort of crunchiness of what's going on, and gamma sort of crushes those midtones, so you can kind of control how soft. And this is starting to look like a nice smoke, fog, haze kind of thing. But if I wanted just to have select highlights like this, just to reveal a road, a piece of metal or something, maybe that would kind of work well. I'm just going to leave it like this for a moment and just show you an example how I use a roto here. So if I just draw a rough shape in, I have this roto currently set to alpha just to view it. My viewer set to alpha to view the black and white values of this roto shape. Now, when I've created this roto, because this is vector based, this curve is defining this edge. If I wanted to kind of break that edge up organically, so say if I was like cutting out leaves or part of an ocean or some grass, or there's many organic features that we're often trying to kind of balance the images between. This hard edge is often going to be problematic. So I can actually use this noise to break up that edge. And using the merge node set to a particular operator. Let's look at that. If that's set to over, which is the default operator, that's set to over, but if I set this to color burn, then what I can actually do here, I'm going to pull these edges out, this is the softness of the edge. In those gradient areas in between, which is the way that this particular operator works, those grey areas, it's going to bring in the use of that noise function. And now you can see that there's a really nice organic look to that edge. This edge here now, there's really nice detail. Could go in and modify the noise to adjust it. That's giving us a really cool result. I could soften it off a bit more. Even crunchier. And to me, this is starting to look far more organic. You can achieve some really cool things. I probably wouldn't want to have that animated, I don't think. but maybe, I mean, maybe there's certain instances where you would, just to kind of randomise it further. Maybe you can kind of do ocean or sand or something that's constantly moving. That might help. But yeah, you can see an example of how that breaks up that roto edge and you can achieve really nice results.